Namaskar students, welcome back to my another lecture. So I am discussing some basics of transistor in this series of my lecture. So in my previous lecture I have started with the very basics of transistor, and then I have discussed the working principle of transistor. Then I have given some glimpses and reviewed common base transistor and its characteristics curve. So in common base transistor I have discussed 4 characteristics curve. That was input characteristics and output characteristics. So that was input impedance, output admittance, forward current gain and reverse voltage gain. So these 4 characteristics curve of common base transistor gives 4 H parameter, that is H means hybrid parameter of transistor, and this H parameter I have defined HIB, that is input impedance, HOB output admittance, then I have discussed HRV reverse voltage gain and HFB, that is forward current gain. So remember this HFB forward current gain, this parameter is very important for common base transistor, and even that is important for any transistor configuration. So these things we have discussed in my previous lecture. Then I have discussed some concept of collector current, and in collector current I have given the concept of leakage current. Means collector current is basically flowing or due to 2 type of charge carriers, that is because of majority charge carriers and minority charge carriers. So majority charge carrier current, so I have defined that is IC majority, and minority charge carrier current I have defined ICO, that is collector current when emitter is open. So that is collector to base current. So I have defined, so that is IC is equal to alpha IE, this is majority carrier current, and ICBO, that is minority carrier current, and this current is basically simply called as a leakage current in transistor, and this is a function of a temperature. So if you change the temperature, working temperature of transistor, obviously the leakage current means current due to minority charge carrier, that will change. If that will change, that is leakage current will change. If leakage current changes, then that collector current changes. So that means that if the working temperature of your device or your transistor is increasing or decreasing, accordingly your collector current will change in any transistor, whether it is common base or common emitter or common collector. I will discuss common emitter transistor in my today's lecture. Then I have defined amplification factor alpha AC, and this alpha AC was basically simply known as the amplification factor, or this is also called as a HFB, what I have defined here, HFB. Basically this HFB is exactly equal to the alpha AC, that is delta IC upon delta I at constant VCB voltage. So in my today's lecture I will again discuss the basics of transistor. So in this lecture I will discuss the common emitter transistor configuration and common emitter transistor characteristics, and then expression for the collector current, which was left in my previous lecture. So in common emitter transistor, if you recall my previous lecture, so transistor have 3 terminal. Transistor have a 3 terminal, emitter, base and collector, and in order to use transistor as a amplifier, or in order to use transistor for input and output device, means you require 2 terminal for input port and 2 terminal for output port. So it means you require 4 port in order to use your transistor for a input and output characteristics, or can be used as an amplifier. So out of and you have 4, you require 4 terminal and you have only 3 terminal. It means in order to use transistor as a amplifier, you have to use 1 terminal as a common between input and output. So that is why if you are using common base as a common, so that is giving the common base configuration. If you are using emitter as a common between input output, so that is giving common emitter transistor configuration. And if you are using collector as a common, then that is giving common collector transistor configuration. And each configuration of transistor, whether it is common base or it is common emitter or it is common collector, each configuration have a different property, and that properties can be understood by studying the characteristics curve of common base, common collector, common emitter transistor. So that is why for the case of common base I have explained the common base transistor characteristics. So in this lecture also I will explain the characteristics of common emitter transistor. Okay, so common emitter transistor configuration characteristics. So let us try to understand common emitter transistor first. So as I discussed, between input and output your emitter will be common. In previous lecture, between input and output base was common, so that was known as the common base, but here emitter is a common. So this is NPN transistor and this is PNP transistor, and this is the symbolic representation of PNP and NPN transistor as I had discussed earlier also. So between input, so this is input port and this is output port. So between input and output emitter is common, so that is why this is known as the common emitter transistor configuration. So now basically two more important characteristics. One of out of four characteristics, only two are very important. So that is base characteristics or input characteristics. So simply called as a, and this is called as a collector characteristics or output characteristics. So this is input characteristics and output characteristics. So if you see input characteristics means you have to measure the input current. You have to plot a curve between input current and input voltage. So basically input voltage is what here? Input voltage, you are applying voltage between base and emitter junction, base and emitter. Okay, so input, if you change the input voltage, that is base emitter voltage, how the input current is changing, if you plot a curve, and that is giving basically a characteristics curve. So this is known as the base characteristics curve or input characteristics curve. Okay, and similarly for output characteristics curve, if you plot a curve between graph between collector current and output voltage, that is output voltage means here base is emitter is common, so between emitter and collector voltage. So voltage between collector and emitter, if you change the voltage between collector and emitter and you measure the collector current and you plot the curve, so whatever curve will come, that is known as the collector characteristics or output characteristics curve. Okay, so let us try to understand input characteristics curve. So we know that there is a depletion region, a depletion layer at the base emitter junction. So when we apply and this base emitter voltage, this voltage can be changed by changing this voltage VBB, and collector emitter voltage can be changed by changing the VCC. Okay, so we know that along any, when PN junction diode is in forward bias, current will not flow if the applied voltage is less than the contact voltage or knee voltage. That is why for this VBB or VBE, when VBE is less than 0.6 volt, then there is no current, but after 0.6 volt you observe increasing current. Okay, and this characteristics curve you have to measure by keeping VCE as a constant. So you first fix this voltage VCE, means you put this VCC at some voltage, and this will give some voltage drop across collector emitter junction. So let us say you first keep VCE at 1 volt, and then you increase VBE and you measure the base current. So this characteristics curve will come like that. And similarly, if you further change the collector emitter voltage, let us say 10 volt, 20 volt, then this characteristics curve will characteristics curve remains same, only the magnitude of current basically changes, the characteristics curve remains same. So this is known as the input characteristics curve. And similarly for output characteristics, if you change the, let us say output characteristics curve, you have to measure the collector current by changing the collector emitter voltage. But in order to do this, what we have to do, we have to fix this input current constant. So let us say when input current is equal to 0, that is IB is equal to 0. So for IB is equal to 0, if you increase the, let us say, collector voltage, this voltage, and if you measure the collector current, so characteristics curve will come like that. Okay, so this is very less current is flowing, and this is saturated after a certain voltage and is nearly constant up to a very high voltage. Okay, and then if you further increase this current, remember this current, how can you increase this current can be increased by increasing this voltage. So you just increase this voltage and a current will come. So you fix this current, and let us say that is 10 microampere. So if you keep this voltage, this current 10 microampere, and again you increase this voltage, VCE means you increase this voltage and you measure this collector current. Okay, when you measure this again at a certain voltage, a current will increase, and then it will become constant, and if you further increase this output voltage, this voltage, and then you get a characteristics curve. Similarly, if you increase the input current 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 microampere, the characteristics remain same, only the magnitude of the current is basically changing. So you are getting 3 region in output characteristics curve. So if you see the region where IB is equal to 0, that input current is 0, below this region, that is known as the cutoff region of your transistor for this common emitter transistor, as I have discussed in case of common base also. So this shaded region I have shown here, this shaded area, so this is basically known as the cutoff region of your transistor. Okay, and here this shaded region, and where the current is basically behaving, this characteristics curve is behaving like a ohmic region, ohmic behavior. So if you increase the voltage, current is increasing linearly, nah? So it means proportionally. So that is this region is basically known as the ohmic region. So this ohmic sided region, which is behaving like ohmic region with the ohmic behavior with the current and voltage. So this region is known as the saturation region of a transistor. And if you see here linear region, so here you get a constant current after a particular voltage, and means there is less distortion. There is very less distortion within this region. So this region is known as the active region of your transistor, and this active region is also sometimes called as a operating region, okay, or least distortion region of your transistor. And whenever we want to use any transistor for amplification factor, and we must want that our transistor should work within this region, within active region or in operating region. Transistor should not work, transistor should not go in cutoff region and in saturation region. If transistor will go in cutoff region, your amplification will be destroyed. If transistor will go in saturation region, again your amplification will be destroyed, means your transistor can be not used as a amplifier. So that is why it is very important and very necessary to understand whenever you are using a transistor, whether it is common base or common emitter or common collector, you must understood the output characteristics of a transistor, and you find out where your in this situation, in this particular situation, whether your transistor is working in active region or in cutoff region or in saturation region. So for amplification factor without any distortion, your transistor should be in active region, then you get amplification. Here you can use transistor as a amplifier. Okay, so this is some input and output characteristics. So let's try to discuss again in some more detail common emitter transistor characteristics and H parameter. So this characteristics curve remains same. So this is input characteristics, output characteristics, this curve and this curve, this is exactly same with this curve and this curve. So this is input characteristic and this is output characteristic. That is what previously I have already shown. Okay, so this is input and output characteristics, transfer voltage characteristics curve and current transfer characteristics curve. Okay, so in order to define H parameter, so I have in case of common base transistor I have defined. So here emitter is common, so notation will change. There in common base was common, so I have used the notation that is HIB. But here emitter is common, so I will use notation HIE. HIE means input impedance when emitter is common. HOE means output admittance when emitter is common. HRE reverse voltage gain when emitter is common. Forward current gain when emitter is common. So this is how you have to read. This is the H11, H22, H12, H21. So this is just matrix formulation, and this is the actual name of the H parameter. So HIE, if you remember, so I have defined that input impedance derivative of this quantity divided by derivative of this quantity. So what if you take derivative and take ratio, then and keeping this quantity as a constant, so that will give the input impedance, because del VB upon del IB, VB upon IB, this is voltage and this is current, the voltage upon current, that is resistance, so that is basically unit of impedance. So that is why this is, and this is both are input parameter, input voltage, input current, so that is why I have called input impedance. Okay. Similarly, if you see for this output characteristics, so this is output current, that is collector current, and this is output voltage, that is collector voltage. So that is why, and del IC derivative of this del VC, del IC upon del VC, keeping constant input current, that is IB. So if you see the dimension of this quantity, that is IC upon VC, that is inverse of a resistance, that is the inverse of resistance, that means that is the admittance, and this admittance is what? This is basically coming from the output, so that is why this is known as the output admittance. So this is known as the, this should be output, so this is output admittance, output admittance. Similarly, if you see here, that is derivative of this quantity and derivative of this quantity, keeping input voltage as a constant. Okay. Then if you take VB upon del VB upon del VC, del VB upon del VC at constant IB, so this is dimensionless and this is dimensionless, so HRE, that is dimensionless quantity, and this is what? This is basically representing a gain, but we have taken ratio of input voltage to the output voltage, so that is why this is known as the basically reverse voltage gain. This is gain in the voltage but in reverse direction, that is why this is known as the reverse voltage gain, HRE, when emitter is common. Similarly, if you take the derivative of this quantity and this quantity, that is del IC and del IB, so it is current upon current, del IC upon del IB, that is current upon current, that is dimensionless, and here this is output and this is input, this is output parameter and this is input parameter. So that is why this is known as the, we are moving forward, moving in forward direction, that is why this is known as the forward current gain, and this is the ratio of to quantity of current, so forward current gain, and this is simply called as a HFE. This HFE is a very important parameter for common emitter transistor, and this is also called as a beta. I will explain in my next slide. So this is input characteristics, this is output characteristic, this is transfer voltage characteristics curve, and this is transfer current characteristics curve. So if you plot a curve between voltage and voltage, input voltage versus the output voltage, so that is giving the transfer voltage characteristics curve. If you plot a curve between output current and input current, keeping output voltage as constant, this is giving the transfer characteristics current, transfer current characteristics curve. So this is the 4 characteristics curve, and 4 characteristics curve give 4 transistor parameter. Okay. So this is quite similar to the common base transistor. In common base transistor also we have a 4 characteristics curve: input, output, transfer voltage, transfer current. So there we have a 4 parameter. Here also input, output, transfer voltage, transfer current. Here also we have a 4 H parameter. Okay, I hope you understood. Now I will define a new quantity and again introduce a new quantity, that is known as the beta. In case of common base, I have introduced that is alpha, but here I will introduce that is beta. So this is for if your signal, you have not applied any AC signal, means for DC mode of transistor, simply take the ratio of collector current and base current, that is output current upon input current, that is basically known as the beta DC. So this beta DC is equal to IC upon IB, and for most practical devices this beta lies between 50 to 400. Why it is? If you remember in characteristics curve, if you see IC upon IB, IC is the collector current and IB is the base current, and IC is basically always of the order of milliampere current, and base current is very less current, and that is microampere current. If you see the characteristics curve also, here this collector current is milliampere current and base current is basically the microampere current. if you take the ratio of milliampere upon microampere, that is basically 1000. So for ideal transistor, if you find out the value of beta DC, so that will be basically 1000. Okay, but for practical devices, this basically lies between 50 to 400, and this is dimensionless. And so if you write the IC, okay, so IC will be equal to beta into IB, and this IC is basically, this collector current is coming because of the majority charge carriers. So this is what we are calling the majority charge carrier current or majority current. So that means collector current, as we have done in case of common base transistor, similarly here we are also doing similar thing we are doing. So collector current can also be here, can also be written as a superimposition of two current, that is majority carrier current and minority carrier current. So IC majority plus ICO, we have called minority current, that is ICO. So that is ICO due to minority current. So IC majority we have calculated, that is beta into IB. Okay, and ICO for common emitter transistor, because we are using common emitter, so obviously this ICO will be different, will have different name. For common base we have given name ICBO. Here we will give name, that is ICEO. How to read this? We have to read collector to emitter current. ICO means collector to emitter current when base is open, because here we are using common emitter. Here we have to open the base. So I have shown in diagram. So this is common emitter transistor. So if you open the base, means when IB is equal to 0, if you open the base, means IB becomes equal to 0. If IB becomes equal to 0, the majority carrier current, that is becomes equal to 0. Then only your collector base junction, that is in reverse bias. Then whatever current will flow, that current is because of the minority charge carrier current. So this current, at that time, this current is called as a ICEO, collector to emitter current, when base is open. Okay, so this current is minority current, and both current, majority, if it is not 0, IB is not 0, then this will also, if non-zero value of base current, that will also introduce a collector current. So that collector current is basically what we are calling, that is beta IB, and another collector current is flowing, that is basically what we are calling, that is ICEO, that is collector to base current when base is open. So that is why I have added, I have sum these two currents, majority current and minority current. So this is ICEO. And if you try to find out the detailed mathematical derivation for collector current, so for the case of common base transistor, I have did this. So that is IC is equal to alpha I plus ICBO, and we know that IE is equal to IB plus IC. So we can derive the derivation. IC is equal to alpha. In place of IE, we can write these things, that is IB plus IC plus ICBO. And if we solve for the IC, so here one IC and here alpha into IC. Then if you take this side alpha IC, there is 1 minus alpha is equal to IC, 1 minus alpha into IC is equal to alpha IB plus ICBO, or IC is equal to alpha 1 minus alpha into IB plus 1 upon 1 minus alpha ICBO. So I have defined ICEO. How? I have defined ICEO when IB is equal to 0. If you substitute, if you do this, if IB is equal to 0, so this this current, that becomes ICEO. So IC become ICEO. So ICEO is equal to 1 upon 1 minus alpha ICBO. Okay. And this 1 upon 1 minus alpha ICBO, this quantity is called as a ICEO. So this IC become ICEO. So ICEO is equal to 1 upon 1 minus alpha ICBO. Okay. So IC is equal to, we can write alpha 1 minus alpha, alpha upon 1 minus alpha into IB plus ICEO, and alpha upon 1 minus alpha. This is the relation between alpha and beta. If you develop, I will develop in my coming lecture. So that is equal to beta. So IC is equal to beta IB plus ICEO. So that is why here directly I have written IC is equal to beta IB plus ICEO. Okay. So this is simple. Simply I have defined. The collector current is basically superimposition of two current. That is one because of the majority current and another because of the minority current. Okay. One current is because base collector current, base emitter junction, that was in forward bias. This current is coming because of the base emitter junction was in forward bias, and this current is coming because of the base collector junction which was in reverse bias. So simply you understood this way. So if you further define beta for the AC signal, so this is simply called as a formally called as a basically amplification factor. Okay, so this amplification factor formally, so this beta AC is equal to delta IC upon delta IB, that is constant at constant output voltage, that is VCE. So simply here same definition, just only change in collector current upon change in base current, keeping constant output voltage. Okay, that is beta AC, and this beta AC is simply called as a amplification factor, or this is also exactly similar to the HFE. HFE or beta, both are the same quantity for a common emitter transistor. Okay, so here till now I have discussed the common emitter transistor, input characteristics and output characteristics I have discussed in detail. I have defined the active region, cutoff region and saturation region on output characteristics. Then I have discussed the characteristics curve and H parameter. Okay, and then I have discussed the collector current, detail about the collector currents, collector current, how it is coming. This is basically because of the majority carrier and minority carrier. Okay, then I have defined the beta for DC signal, for DC mode, for AC mode. So now in this another slide, I will discuss the relation between alpha I have defined, that is for the case of common emitter, common base transistor. Then beta I have defined here for the common emitter transistor. Another parameter that is I will not discuss, that is not mentioned in your syllabus, that is common collector transistor. So there for that, for common collector transistor we can define gamma, and gamma that is for the common base common collector transistor. So I will develop a relation between common alpha, beta and gamma in my next slide. So as previously I have discussed, alpha is basically change in collector current upon change in emitter current, that is for common base transistor, and beta is basically change in collector current upon change in base current. This is for the common emitter transistor. So this is for common emitter, common base, and this is for the common emitter. Okay, so this is the definition. And if I want to develop a relation between alpha and beta, okay, so if we develop the relation between alpha and beta, so from definition we can develop, we know the very basic fundamental equation in transistor, that is IE, collector current is always equal to base current plus collector current. If you take derivative, obviously delta IE will be equal to plus delta IB plus delta IC. Okay, now you take the first definition, that is alpha. Alpha is equal to delta IC upon delta IE, and in place of delta IE we can write delta IB plus delta IC. That is what I have did. Alpha is equal to delta IC plus delta IC divided by delta IC plus delta IB. And here if you see, I can take IB as a common. If I take IB as a common, so here it will be delta IC upon delta IB in bracket delta IC upon delta IB plus 1. So this delta IC upon delta IB I can write delta IC upon delta IB divided by delta IC upon delta IB plus 1. This I can write. And if you see carefully, so this delta IC upon delta IB, this is what? This is basically beta. So from the definition of beta, that is delta IC upon delta IB, so alpha is equal to beta upon beta plus 1. Okay, or if I substitute this this quantity in 1, so 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 minus beta upon 1 plus beta, so 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 upon beta plus 1. So this alpha is equal to beta upon beta plus 1, or 1 minus alpha is equal to 1 upon beta plus 1. Both relation is valid for. So this is the relation between alpha and beta. Similarly, I may have started with this definition beta, and I can obtain a relation for alpha also. So I have did in this next slide. So if you see, so I am starting with the definition of beta, that is for common emitter transistor. So beta is equal to delta IC upon delta IB, and we know the relation, that is delta IE is equal to delta IB plus delta IC. So if I want to find out the value of delta IB, so delta IB is equal to delta IE minus delta IC. So if you substitute this value here, so beta is equal to delta IC upon delta IE minus delta IC, and here I can take delta IE as a common. If you take delta IE as a common, so delta IC upon delta IE in bracket 1 minus delta IC upon delta IE, and so I can write beta is equal to delta IC upon delta IE upon 1 minus delta IC upon delta IE. If you see carefully, this delta IC upon delta IE, that is what? Delta IC upon delta IE, that is alpha. It means this quantity is alpha and this quantity is alpha. So beta is equal to alpha upon 1 minus alpha. So this is the relation I have developed. I have started with the beta and I have got an expression for the alpha. I have started with the beta and I have got expression for the alpha. In previous slide, what I did, I started with the alpha and I got the relation for beta. And here I have started with the beta and I have got relation for the alpha. So beta is equal to alpha upon 1 minus alpha, or beta plus 1 is equal to 1 upon 1 minus alpha. Okay, just here I have added 1 both sides, so I have simplified. So beta plus 1 is equal to 1 minus. So this is the relation between alpha and beta. So both relations are valid. So this alpha is equal to beta upon 1 plus beta, and alpha is equal to beta upon 1 plus beta, and beta is equal to alpha upon 1 minus alpha, or beta plus 1 is equal to 1 upon 1 minus alpha. Okay, now I can start with the definition of gamma, and I can develop the relation between alpha and beta. So the definition of gamma is basically, that is for the common, remember, common collector, means collector is common between input and output. So if collector is common, then your input will be base and output will be a meter. So gamma, the definition of gamma will be delta IE, that is output current upon input current, delta IE upon delta IB, and definition of alpha we know, that is delta IC upon delta IE, and definition of beta we know, that is delta IC upon delta IB. That is the definitions. And IE we know, IB plus IC, delta IE is equal to delta IB plus delta IC. So if I am starting with the gamma, so delta IE upon delta IB, it means we have to find out the value of delta IB. So delta IB is equal to delta IE minus delta IC, or gamma is equal to, we can write, I am substituting this value. So gamma is equal to delta IE upon delta IE minus delta IC. And if I take delta IC as a common, so delta IE upon delta IC in bracket delta IE upon IC minus 1. So that is, I can write delta IE upon delta IC divided by delta IE upon delta IC minus 1. And if you see carefully, delta IE upon delta IC, that is what? That is alpha. So gamma is equal to alpha divided by 1 minus alpha. So this is relation between alpha and gamma. And similarly, I can have done the same relation for beta also, between gamma and beta. So if you do that, so gamma I have defined, gamma is equal to, I have substituted, that is delta IE upon delta IE minus delta IC. If I take IE as a common here in this, so delta IE upon delta I 1 minus delta IC upon delta IE. So this delta IE and delta IE will be cancelled out. So what will we get? We will get 1 upon 1 minus delta IC upon delta IE. And if you see carefully, this delta IC upon delta I, that is what? So that delta IC upon delta IB, delta IC upon delta IE, delta IC upon delta I, delta IC upon delta I, that is basically alpha. So I can get gamma is equal to 1 upon 1 minus alpha. Okay, so that is gamma. And we know that 1 upon 1 minus alpha is equal to what? 1 upon 1 minus alpha is equal to beta plus 1. If I substitute, so 1 upon 1 plus beta is equal to beta plus 1, that is beta, gamma is equal to 1 upon gamma is equal to beta plus 1. So this is giving the relation between gamma and beta. So gamma is equal to beta plus 1 and gamma is equal to alpha upon 1 alpha minus 1. So this is, I have developed a relation between alpha, beta and gamma, that means common emitter transistor, common base transistor and common collector transistor. It means if you know the current in common collector transistor, the value of collector current or any current, if you know the value of alpha beta of in any configuration, then you can determine the currents in other configuration. That is the advantage of developing relation between alpha and beta and gamma. Okay, with this I thanks a lot to all of you. Thank you very much for listening me carefully.